guys, Welsknight here, and welcome back to another episode of Caveopolis. Hope you guys are having an awesome day. I am having a fantastic day. Last we left off, we had just completed the quest to unlock the next set of ores. So we now have silver, emerald, diamond, and uranium, and I AFK'd for a bit between episodes to just sort of let those resources build up. So we've got about 5 stacks of diamonds, probably about 5 or 6 stacks of emeralds. We got a fair amount of all of them. So that's great. Also, you may notice I'm wearing diamond gear now. Went ahead and crafted that using the diamonds. It's not enchanted yet, but it is far better than the copper and stone gear that we were using before. Also, I did a little bit of moving stuff around. So over here, we now have a little bit of an enchanting area, which is great. I can't remember. This may have actually been in the previous episode, but I made a little bit of an enchanting area here, and then also just kind of made a section in here to put in some machines. So we've got all of this stuff kind of in one spot. This is kind of like a workshop, I guess you would say, because these are the machines that I find myself using for crafting purposes all the time. So we've got like a redstone furnace here. I can throw stuff I want smelted into this barrel, and it will process through and end up over here. We've got the multi-servo press, we have the pulverizer, and we have the induction smelter over here. Our applied energistics ME system is going to go right here once this is all ready to go. Over here, we've got some power stuff. So I have an energetic infuser because I do have a magnet now, and I can throw that in here to recharge it, which will do magnety things. So, boop, automatically picks them back up, which is pretty cool. And then just a redstone flux cell. This thing holds 8 million RF. It's got a couple upgrades in it. And basically, this is just like a battery backup for my whole system because very often I'm not going to be using as much power as I'm producing. So it gives us kind of a buffer if I need to do some sort of big project that involves a lot of machinery and stuff. I'll have a little bit of an energy buffer there. So yeah, I think some of that may have been in the last episode or may not. I don't know. It's been a bit since I've recorded Caveopolis specifically. So anyway, today I want to do a few different things. So right here, we've got flux controller, flux plug, basic flux storage, and flux point. And flux systems are wonderful. They are great for transferring energy from one point to another. I don't know that we actually need them, to be honest, because we also have Powah in this mod, or in this mod pack, which we're not going to be getting into. Actually, do we get? I think we get into Powah right here. Yeah. So right here, this is the Powah mod, and one of the things in the Powah mod is actually ender cells, they're called. And these basically do the same thing as a flux network. They let you transfer power wirelessly and also even between dimensions. So we can just make these instead of making flux network stuff. None of it's crazy, ridiculously expensive. I mean, we're definitely going to need some sort of Enderman farm, but I think we get access to the end in the next chapter, not quite yet. So I think the thing to do here is probably start working on making some dielectric paste for Powah, and start just kind of working our way through these different crafting options. We should have the resources to do all of this. Dielectric paste is just diamonds, electrum, and flux dust. Electrum is, I believe, gold and silver in an induction smelter, right? Yeah, gold and silver. And then the flux dust, that is so hard to say. If we go to bedrock here, now, disclaimer, I haven't ever actually done this, so it may not work. But if I'm understanding this properly, you can throw... Oh, hold on. I have to disable magnet. turn that off. There we go. You can throw redstone underneath bedrock. Off? How I turn you off? It doesn't want to go off. Can you not? I thought... Oh, V, I guess. It's not shift right click. Oh. There we go. Okay, it's off. No, most magnets in like every mod pack I've played have always been shift right click to turn them on and off, but I guess that's not the case with this one. Anyway, so if we toss, we need to get these underneath the obsidian there, and then if we punch the obsidian, it turns into flux dust. So you kind of drop the obsidian onto the redstone, and I don't know if there's a limit for how many stacks this can do at once. I don't think... there might be. But I don't know. Maybe not. Either way, that's how we get flux dust very, very quickly, rather than going through this whole process with bedrock fragments and all this other stuff. We can get it quite easily by just dropping obsidian on it. So yeah, pretty cool. Another benefit of having access to the next tier of ores is we now have access to the highest tier of storage drawer upgrades. So we can now make emerald upgrades, and these increase storage by 32 times the base value. The one we've been using iron upgrades, these only increase it by 4. So these are 8 times better than the iron ones. We can just toss those on, and now we go from 8 to 256 stacks of items. And all we need for that, really, that isn't super easily obtainable, is just 2 emeralds, which is pretty cheap. So, not bad. You just need wood and 2 emeralds. Oh yeah, I almost forgot to mention, we now have access to augments for our thermal expansion machines as well. So these are great. They increase the speed or efficiency or various different aspects of your thermal expansion machine. So, for example, this is the one that I'm currently using more than any other. And this thing basically just increases the speed. Here we go. Increases the speed of a machine. It uses 1.1 times as much power, which isn't bad, but it also essentially gives you a 100% speed increase. So if you put 4 of these in, it will be 400% faster than it would be by default. So you can see this pulverizer is going pretty quick, which is great. Also, we could look at making some more of these different components here as well, and these will increase the base stats of a machine. So you would get 2 times faster here, and then each of these would be 100% increase. So these would essentially become like 200% increases. Comparing, long story short, what you generally want to do long term is end up with a resonant integral component, although this thing is way more expensive than we can afford right now. You want 1 of these and then like 3 of these, and that'll give you the maximum processing, the fastest possible processing time. So yeah, all of these machines have some sort of augmentation on them to speed things up a bit while I am working in my workshop. So I've been doing some workshop stuff in here, just processing various things, smelting up dielectric paste, processing various ores through the pulverizer, and I was looking, and I think we actually can make these reinforced integral components. We do have access now to signalum as well. It is just silver, copper, and redstone dust in an induction smelter. So, yeah, this should be fine. We need 4 stacks of redstone dust, 3 stacks of copper ingots, and 1 stack of silver ingots. And then we toss all 3 of those in here, let them do their thing. They will... Ooh, that is slow. Yeah, I need to upgrade that as well. In fact, I will probably put reinforced integral components on the induction smelter, the pulverizer, and the redstone furnace. I don't think I need it on the multi-servo press. I don't use this thing nearly as much, or at least not for like bulk crafting. I usually don't need to make 5 stacks of gears or whatever. But I think the furnace and these two would definitely benefit from having the reinforced integral components. Also, I'll probably put one on this flux cell as well, which will get it up to, I think, 16 million RF instead of 8 million. Is that right? Is it 2 to 3, actually? So not 16. It would go up to 12 million, I guess. But anyway, yeah, more upgrading, and, you know, ultimately this helps us out a lot because it will set us up for the future for large amounts of bulk crafting. Okay, well, I've been processing a bunch of dielectric paste and all this other kind of stuff, and I think we are finally ready to actually craft up some of the necessary things that we need to start doing stuff with Powah. So that's pretty exciting. Let's just go ahead and make a few of these vertical and horizontal dielectric rods. And then, if we look in here, we have dielectric casings. And these are made with iron ingots and then 2 each of the rods and two of each of the types of rods. So, not too bad. Let's just go... I mean, we are going to need an absolute, like, ton of these. So, let's just do this. I'm going to make 16 of these boys, which is obviously quite a few. But... as I said, we're going to need a bunch. So, energizing orb. We only need 1 of these. So, let's just grab a little bit of glass up here. And this is used for a lot of the various crafting in Powah. And this guy, you know what? Hold on. Let's just go here. Powah. Where is the little guy? Here it is, the energizing orb. I guess I was too far away. Okay, here we go. So we'll make 1 of these, and then we also are going to need a number of these energizing rods, and for now we can probably get away with only having 2 of them, I think, although we will probably want to upgrade that to 4. Actually, maybe I'll just make 4 right off the bat. I think that's probably smarter. We also need a couple of these basic capacitors, and these are made using blocks of redstone and iron ingots. So let me just grab some redstone here, and we'll make a bunch of redstone blocks. There we go. So make, sure, we'll just convert them all. That'll be fine. And then we need the tiny ones to make the basic energizing rod. So 1 basic capacitor turns into 2 tiny capacitors. And there we go. We now have 4 energizing rods. Last but not least, we need a wrench. And we'll make 1 of those too. So now, these are all the things we need to do crafting within Powah. Also, I should grab 4 of these guys so that I can make the diamond gear. Like so. We'll just toss that in here. And that will complete this quest so that we can get to steel casings. So, let's go ahead and let's just lay out a couple of energy pipes real quick. We'll just put them here, I guess. That should be perfectly fine. Actually, let's not do it there. Let's actually connect this to our flux cell. I think that's probably smarter, and we want to say the front will output. And we'll just go 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, that'll work. And then on each of these, we're just going to put, excuse me? Why do you not place? These should be able to be placed down on top of these energy pipes. Am I missing something? Ah, we have to turn them into basic ones first. Is that right? No, we should be able to... Okay, is there something funky in this? Used to provide power. Yeah, okay. Using... Okay, this I understand. But I'm a little confused as to why I can't place down these starter rods. That's not great. Let me see if I can get this figured out. Can't pulverize that. Okay, yeah, let me do a little digging. Okay, so I did some digging. You cannot place energizing rods on anything that is not a power source. Now, the thing is, these energy pipes from the pipes mod are not technically an energy source because they don't hold energy within them. So, long story short, these energy pipes will not work, and your only option within the pack to use energy pipes for the energizing rods are the ones from Mekanism. These guys, basic universal cables, advanced, etc., etc. Now, the thing is, you can make the basic ones, but in order to make anything beyond the basic ones, you need access to a metallurgic infuser, which means we need access to... actually, okay. Maybe this is more doable than I thought. Because the basic metallurgic infuser... See, here's the thing. Mekanism is not till, like, way down here. Like, this is where it asks for Mekanism. But it looks... Oh, no, just kidding. You need an osmium ingot. We don't get that until the next tier of ore. So we can make the basic cables out of Constantan, which is just nickel and copper dust. But beyond that, that's all we can do with these, which is not great because the basic cables really don't actually transport that much power. What is it? Nickel and copper. Okay, so let's just grab, I don't know, 5 of each. Let's go 7 of each. That way I'll have a total of 8 Constantan. Oh, actually, I'll have more than that. But either way, let's just throw some of these into the induction smelter, turn this into Constantan, do its thing. Yeah, I don't know if I'm a huge fan of that. The other alternative would be to put them directly on top of power cells. So what we could actually do is throw this guy... We have to change this to output, but we could put it up here and have an entire power cell dedicated just to this. But again, like this, but this is, again, not super ideal. I mean, it will work for the early crafting, but like, either way, it's fine. We will be getting into Mekanism soon enough. Like, it's not super far away, but still, it's a little annoying that that these pipes do not work with the energizing orbs. Oh well. Anyway, so we have our energizing orb, we have our energizing rod. So now what we need to do is go back to here, and we need to make energized steel. And this is made by throwing steel and electrum into this energizing orb. So I believe I have some steel already made. I know I do have some electrum. Let's see. I think this is steel. Nope, that's silver. That's steel. Although I only have 3, which is not a lot. So I will most certainly have to make more, but that's perfectly fine. So we can go toss in an electrum ingot, toss in a steel ingot, and then this thing should start doing its thing. Just kidding. I'm a dummy. I set this to input, not output. That would do it. So rather, it was trying to suck power from the energizing rod rather than provide power to it. That would explain why it was not working. So good job, self. But we got it figured out. Okay, so now we have our energized steel, and this can be used to make steel casings, which are used for making mechanism machines. So, as I said, we are getting pretty close to mechanism. We're not quite there yet. Oh, I've literally got the diamond gear in my inventory already. So, steel casing. So let's go ahead and make one of those. That also now allows us to break top rock. So that's pretty nifty. If we look at the world, top rock is the very top thing in the world. Like, that's what's left. There's nothing above top rock. Maybe the surface? I don't know if there's something above, like, I don't know if the top rock just basically goes all the way to build height. No, it only goes up to 169. So I'm assuming after that, it's probably just open air, would be my guess. Like, you finally reach the surface? I don't know. I guess we'll find out. But anyway, so we now have access to that. The other thing that energized steel gives us access to is all of the Powah reactor stuff. And this is going to ultimately be our massive power generator. This is how you generate, stupid amounts of power. So if we look at the mechanism reactor, or not the mechanism reactors, the Powah reactors, you need 36 of each of these reactor blocks to make a reactor. So if you're doing the basic reactor, you need, where are the reactor blocks? Energy cell hardened. Am I just dumb? Blind? Oh, they're right here. Yeah, they're right in front of my face. I am blind. So if you want to make the basic reactor, you need 36 basic reactor blocks. If you want to make the highest tier of reactor, the nitro reactor, you need 36 nitro reactor blocks. Thankfully, these can be upgraded. So you start with the reactor, the basic one, and then you can upgrade all 36 blocks to hardened, and then you can upgrade all 36 blocks to blazing, and so on and so forth. But long story short, it is a 3x3x4 tall multi-block structure, which is a total of 36 of this block. Now, the basic reactor, you can see right here, has, it generates 1,000 RF or FE per tick, which is like, if you think about it, that's more than we're generating right now. That is a fair amount of power, but it's not like an insane amount of power, right? Like, right now, our current setup for power is this. We've got, 16 magmatic dynamos. Each of these is generating 40 RF per tick at maximum, although right now they're not using all the power, so I'm only generating 4. But, that would be 640 RF per tick for these 16 dynamos. So 1,000 RF per tick from the reactor is still, quite a bit more. But once you get up to the really high tier stuff, 500,000 RF per tick. Keep in mind that there are 20 ticks in 1 second of Minecraft game. So that's a lot of power, and that is enough to support massive amounts of machines and crazy systems and automation and all sorts of just insane stuff. Like 500,000 RF per tick is a lot of power. So this is like your end game power generation. However, these reactors do require fuel. You need uranium, which we are generating, so that will work. They also require, they don't require, but it is highly encouraged that you have some sort of cooling source, such as ice, which we can also generate. And they require, last but not least, I believe, a catalyst, which is coal or redstone or something like that. Like, there's a few different things. In fact, we can actually just look at the manual. And if you look at the reactors, they require a few different things. Here we go. So you need a fuel source, which is uranium. You can use a redstone power. In order to reach the maximum power generation, you need all of these things. So you need a fuel source, uranium. You need a cooling source, which can be ice, snow, packed ice, things like that. You need redstone, and you need coal, or I think it can take charcoal as well. So you need all of these different things to generate crazy amounts of power. However, in the Powah mod, there is another type of generator called the thermo generator. And the thermo generator, the basic version, only generates 20 RF per tick, which is obviously not that crazy. Once you get up to the high tier stuff, though, they generate 2,000 RF per tick, which is obviously not nearly as much as a reactor. But all you have to do is put these things over lava, and they just generate power forever. They don't require any sort of fuel source or anything like that. They just need a coolant, which can be water, and water is obviously insanely easy to get infinite amounts of thanks to aqueous accumulators. And they just generate, you just literally put them on top of a lava block. It doesn't consume the lava block. You just get infinite power. So we probably want to do a combination of the two. We want to make a handful of these thermo generators for our normal sort of day-to-day power. And then we probably want to make a reactor just for like a backup to have crazy amounts of power should we need it for something down the road. So I think that's kind of the plan. In order to do that, though, we have a lot of crafting we have to do along the way. We need to get uraninite. The way that you get this is you can smelt stuff that we don't have, or you can throw here we go. You can throw uranium ingots into the energizer, and the way you get uranium ingots is by smelting uranium ore. You can also pulverize. Actually, let's just check. Is there a way to get more uranium? Here we go. We look at this. You can. Doesn't look like if you throw it in a pulverizer, you have a chance of getting more. So yeah, you basically just smelt it, and then it's a 1-to-1. So I was hoping I could throw it in a pulverizer and potentially get extra, but that does not appear to be the case. Either way, we can just take a bunch of this uranium ore and throw it into our redstone furnace over here. Let this smelt up and do its thing. I have gone ahead and upgraded all of the machines I was talking about before to the next tier, so they're relatively quick now, which is good. But yeah, lots of crafting to do. We need to use the uranium, and then we get into reactors. You can see it requires this, and then from there we have to upgrade it like so. It takes, and then it starts getting difficult once you get into like hardened, and this is where you need to start using energized steel. And then once you get up to here, blazing crystals, these are kind of a pain. You need, actually, these shouldn't be super hard because we can just generate blaze rods. So, but yeah, you have to basically stick a blaze rod or blaze powder into the energizing orb over here. And it's this whole process to kind of slowly work your way up the tiers. Here you need niotic crystals, which are diamonds. Those are pretty easy. For the level here, you need emeralds, and then for the highest tier, this is the one that's actually like insane. You need a nether star, along with redstone and blazing crystal, but blazing crystal and the redstone are the easy part. You need a nether star for these. So that's obviously a bit of a process, but we do have access to hardened glass, so we can make like a little wither trapping cage. So all of this should be doable. I guess I just have a lot of crafting to do. However, my friends, I think I'm going to do most of that crafting between episodes because we are out of time for this one, and it's basically just going to be a lot of standing around and waiting for things to process. So, hopefully by the time we come back, I will have a lot more power generation going for us, and that will be great. But yeah, I'm out of time for this one. My friends, if you enjoyed the video, you know what to do. Links in the description below, so check that out as well. Otherwise, my friends, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.